Hello and welcome to the Bold Leadership Story Show, where we talk about experiences shaping exceptional lives. And today I have the honor of speaking with Michael Scalise. It's Scalise, or how do you say I'm sorry, I should have
Scalise,
asked that.
Scalise,
Scalise. Okay, I got it right.
Scalise, no, Scalise.
Scalise. Okay,
Yeah,
Michael Scalise. We got that. We got that down. Michael is an Emmy and Telly Award-winning video producer and editor with over 30 years of experience in the broadcast journalism industry. During his time in broadcasting, Michael's worked on countless newscasts for KGTV and ABC affiliate, and also KFMB TV, the CBS News affiliate, both down in San Diego, California. And his various responsibilities included working as assistant news photographer, video editor, entertainment writer, and producer. And oddly enough, working in the back office. Why is that odd, Michael?
because it's not my career path.
Not your
I
thing.
I'm asked to fill in as a vacation relief, kind of help out in the business office. So
Okay.
I'm a creative person. I'm not an accounting person by any means. So that's why I say it was kind of a diversion. But it was a foot in the door, extra money, as they say, experience. So why not? When you're in college, why not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, why not? And then see,
yeah,
while you were doing all of that, you also started another production company as a kind
correct.
of a plan B thing. And you've been doing it for 22 years. It's called Black Tie Productions. And
Yes,
and you've retired from being professional broadcasting guy, and now you've got uh, your professional Black Tie Productions company, and you're
yes.
based in Temecula, California, correct?
Cor- Correct. Yes.
Awesome. So how long have you been full time at that?
Well, I just retired this past December. So if you want to get technical, it's since then. But I've been, as you mentioned, operating my business for 22 years,
Yeah.
giving it my all, in addition to working at the television stations.
Uh-huh.
So been burning the candle at both ends for the past 22 years. But now that I've, passed on the torch at the television stations, now I can fully focus on my business.
Uh-huh.
Gives me some freedom and scheduling and all of that. So
Cool. So what do you love to do? What is it about the video broadcasting and video production business that you love?
I've always had a passion for the visual arts. I love using video to tell someone's story, and just the whole creative process of going out, shooting video, having all these various random shots of things. And then when I come back to edit, I put it all together and I guess you could say, make sense of it all and
Uh-huh.
put it into a story. It's a visual jigsaw puzzle. I mean, it's when I go out and shoot, I know what I'm going to do with it. And when I come back to edit, it's putting that all together and making some adjustments. There's always going to be changes when you're editing because you get into a flow and a groove and you start getting more ideas. So the entire process is what keeps me going, and that's what I'm passionate about.
Well, I was looking at some of the work that you've done. We'll go through that online here. I can pull up some things, but you've had some really impressive work over the years, and here at Temecula too. There's been some exciting things that have gone on that you've been a
Mhm.
very key part of with Black Tie Productions. How did you get started? What was it that got you? I mean, this has been a lifelong thing, and you started when you were pretty young. How old were you when you got your start doing stuff with the camera?
Well, with the camera, I was probably 12, 13, 14, kind of in that age range.
Okay.
I took over the family movie camera that we had. My dad had a movie camera.
Okay.
He took all the family movies before I was born and when I
So what
was
was that
very,
like? You and I are maybe the same age. We had one too. We had 8 millimeter.
it
We
was 8 millimeter. It was,
okay.
I actually have a couple of them. I found them on eBay. So I've got, those actual cameras now just to have for
Like
sentimental
the
value.
Bell and Howell 8 millimeter.
Yeah,
uh,
these were actually 8 millimeter. You would wind them up to function. They were all mechanical, no batteries, no power.
Right.
You would wind it and it would run until it stopped running. So you would shoot one side of the film cartridge, take it out, flip it over, shoot the other half because it was actually a 16 millimeter film. And
Okay.
then when
All
they
right.
processed it, they would split it in half and splice it together. So
Uh-huh.
that was where I kind of started. I always had a love of movies. So,
What was your first movie that you like were proud of?
oh, that I made.
Yeah.
Wow. They were just backyard movies with my friends, just goofing around. And,
We used to
you know,
do like, remember those old Shell commercials where they would sit on the ground and then take a shot and then move a little bit, take
oh
another
yeah.
shot, move, take another shot. And it looked like you were like rolling along on the ground.
Yeah. Those were painstakingly long days to shoot those because it
Oh
was
yeah.
you're doing the movement frame by frame.
Stop action stuff.
Yeah, and I've done some of that when I was younger. I did some of that with inanimate objects like little figurines and stuff. You'd make them move on the kitchen table, and that was always
Right.
fun. It did take all day to shoot because it's
Right.
frame by frame, and but it was fun, just experimenting with all that and doing, like I said, silly movies with my friends in the backyard. We One of them I recall we did a kind of a takeoff on the series Kung Fu.
Okay.
David Carradine kind of
Uh-huh.
goes way back, but stuff like that, just being silly and just trying different things. And it was all about just having a good time. Nothing was scripted, nothing was planned more than 10 minutes out. So
Uh-huh.
it was
Uh-huh.
just kind of off the cuff. And then just to watch it back and just realize how silly it all was. But hey, this is how Steven Spielberg started, so why not? you know
Yeah. Oh
if he
yeah.
can do it, we can do it and see where it goes. But yeah, it
That's
was
good
fun.
stuff. So I'm gonna share my screen here real quick. I'm gonna pull up your website.
Okay.
And so we're looking at your black tie productions, and you've got studio work, you do corporate work, you're doing all kinds of videos,
Yes.
weddings, all kinds of really cool stuff. Um, so that's your current business. And then looking at some of your body of work,
Hmm.
I've pulled up your YouTube here, and then you've got really ton of stuff here you've done even here in Temecula with the reality rallies of various years.
Yeah. Reality
And
Rally is a big one. Rock the Oaks.
then you
Um,
did some stuff with the Alta Loma High School.
yeah, those were what's known as the every 15-minute program. It's to
Uh-huh.
prevent drunk driving with teens, and so it's a whole dramatized automobile accident scene, and it's pretty emotional, pretty gripping, and the videos you know get the point across in a strong storytelling way.
Right.
But I like to do all sorts of videos. I mean, it keeps life interesting for me and challenging, and I'm open to trying different projects and approaches and things like that. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why you see a lot of different variety. When I started my business, Black Tie Productions, I was solely focused on wedding videos,
Uh-huh.
um, because I had been shooting weddings for another company. And then I thought, hey, I can do this myself, do it better, and start a business with it. So the first couple decades of my business, I was shooting a lot of weddings, on weekends and weekdays, and spent a lot of time at the wineries here in Temecula. So put in a lot of hours shooting weddings, which is great because for all practical purposes, weddings are you're shooting a live event. There's no stopping the event and saying, hey, can we do that over? You know, it's
Right.
it's from start to
Yeah.
finish. You have to be on your game and know when to anticipate certain shots and parts of the day. Um, so yeah, weddings are a great way to get your speed up, get your eyes sharpened, and know how to anticipate things. And in fact, I always tell people that shoot weddings, shoot with both eyes open, because keep one eye on the viewfinder and the other one, you know, keep open for the unexpected because it's going to happen. So, you have to be prepared, and that's how you get the great moments. You just have
Awesome.
to, yeah. So yeah, it's great.
So what was your biggest, you've done a ton of interviews, various people I've seen, like over the years. Who is
Oh,
your most impactful interview that you
yeah.
remember?
Yeah, I have interviewed a lot of people doing entertainment writing and producing at the television station. Um, a lot of it was going to movie junkets, the junkets in Los Angeles, which consist of people that might not be familiar with terminology. They send you up to LA, you watch the movie that they're promoting.
Mhm.
After the movie, you interview all the actors that were in the movie, sometimes the
Okay.
producers. So it's a whole series of interviews. You literally go room to room and interview different people, which is a great experience and get you used to interviewing people and just, have a conversation like we're doing today. And,
Hmm.
you know, you have to really forget these are celebrities, they're movie stars, but that's their job. Just like my job was to interview them and your job is to interview me. So they're famous, yeah, but they're everyday people. That's their job. So um, as far as big names, Jim Carrey, Ben Affleck, um, Ashley Judd, Meg Ryan. I mean, a lot of different people, and some of them are better than others. Some are more conversational than others, and you just have
Hmm.
to kind of break the ice. And the hardest part, you're only given 5 minutes per interview, so you have to,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
because there's all these TV stations from across the country and the world
Okay.
that are at these junkets.
Like a step and repeat.
So everybody's allotted 5 minutes, and you have to stick to that clock. And so, you jump in, get your questions, and go on to the next person, and so on. But it's a great experience. Like I said, you get to see the new movies before they come out, interview
Mhm.
the actors. Um, a couple of highlights. One movie I did a junket for was Eyes Wide Shut, the Stanley Kubrick
Oh, wow.
movie.
Okay. Yeah.
It was interesting on a couple levels. Stanley Kubrick had passed away before the movie was released, so
Uh-huh.
he was not at the junket, and Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman were not at the junket, so all the big names were not there. But it was still interesting to see the movie. Um, the fun part for me was during the screening, I was sitting a couple seats away from Roger Ebert, who was
Oh, yeah.
kind
The
of,
guy with the thumbs up, thumbs down. Yeah.
yeah, thumbs up guy. So
Yeah.
to sit near him, I mean, he is the movie reviewer.
Hmm.
While he was alive, he was really looked up to. So that was fun for me to sit near him in a big, beautiful theater on the Warner Brothers lot and experience this movie and everything that came with it. So that whole experience got me accustomed to doing interviews
Uh-huh.
and kind of forgetting that, okay, this is a famous person, and like I said earlier, they're just like you and I, and
Right.
they have regular lives, and just happens to be that's their job. So yeah, that was a great experience to do all that and come back and write and produce the stories and get those on the air. Got to meet a few of my people that I look up to as far as movie stars and
Mhm.
musicians. Um, One of the musicians I did interview that I pretty much, as a musician myself, I was inspired by is Dan Fogelberg.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah, I watched that.
yeah,
Great.
I was able to arrange an interview and do that while he was in San Diego one day. And
Uh-huh.
he was a great guy. We had a long interview and talked about a lot of stuff to do with his music and everything. So, he was just a down to earth guy. I mean, no, you know, not a big deal that he was famous.
Hmm.
He just has an average approach to things. So, which was great. Just sat and talked to him for 25 minutes. So that was great. Um, yeah, just a lot of fun stuff and going to places the average person doesn't get to go to do these stories. And
Yeah, I saw Etta
yeah,
James, the jazz singer. She's famous.
uh-huh.
And then you had Naomi
Oh,
Judd, you mentioned, Dan Fogelberg, and then I saw Gary Sinise. Gary Sinise
oh
was
yeah,
in. I have a ton of respect for him. Uh,
yes, he was here in town for a fundraiser for his foundation, and
mhm.
I think later that day he did a concert at one of the wineries.
Right.
But yeah, he was a real nice guy to work with and meet him. So yeah, it's just a lot of different opportunities that come with this part of the business, the video production end of it, and
Hmm.
um, you learn a lot. You get to meet a lot of neat people, whether they're famous or not. But the best part is everybody's got a story as to what where they're coming from, what they're working with, and what their passions are, and things like that. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's all interesting.
What is it that drives you now with, you've been doing this for a minute and you're like still, I can tell you've got this enthusiasm. You're like a little kid sitting here talking about video production. And so
Yeah,
what drives you? What is it that makes it special for you every day?
I don't know if I can put my finger on it, but it's just I just love the visual element to everything, and capturing moments and events and then putting it together, and the
Hmm.
final edited video. That's probably the best part, when you deliver the video to the client or put it out there on social media
Hmm.
and you wait for the feedback, the reactions, um, just just the whole process. But like I said, the payoff at the end is seeing people's reactions. I've done videos for these different events in Temecula, done videos for people's memorial services.
Hmm.
Not a happy occasion, but you know, to see the reactions from families when they see all those photos put to music and things like that.
Hmm.
That's the payoff. Aside from the money I make doing things, that emotional payoff is probably the big part of it. But I just love the visual arts and the magic of it all, and capturing and working with it and editing the videos. And when I was much younger, making those backyard films with my friends, I wanted to make movies, but I wasn't keen on having to move to Los Angeles and
Okay.
go up to Hollywood. So that's a whole different ball game, different atmosphere up there. But you know, today's technology, you can be anywhere and do anything. So I guess that doesn't really matter anymore. But I'm happy with what I'm doing, and all of that. But yeah, it's just the process itself, and working with the different people along the way, and
Hmm.
telling the story. A lot of videos and movies, the thing that makes them great is it have a good story. If the story's not there, it's going to fall flat, and people are going to walk away disappointed, and it's not going to deliver. So there's a reporter on CBS News, I think it is, and Steve Hartman. I don't know if you're familiar with seeing his stories,
Heard the
but
name. Yeah.
he will literally take a road map and he'll throw a dart or put a push pin wherever it lands. He'll go there, start knocking on doors. Inevitably, he finds somebody that has a story. He'll knock on a door and stumble on someone who was like a World War II pilot or something,
Yeah.
and just randomly find people, because the gist of it
That's
is
cool.
everybody has a story. you know so I could probably ask you right now, what's your backstory, and you probably have a story, and it'll make a good 10-minute video or whatever, whatever. But
Oh boy, I agree with that. I love
yeah,
stories. Yeah,
and
that's why I do this podcast is because of
yeah,
these stories. So
so
yeah,
everybody's
absolutely.
got a story. If you dig deep enough, and you know instead of just saying hi, how are you, and walk away, if you ask a few more questions, you'll probably find a good story there with each person on the street. And so that's kind of the gist of it all, just finding that story.
What was the most so far in your black tie production, or maybe in your other video work? What was the most impactful story that you've been able to kind of showcase with your work so far?
Wow. Um, that's a hard question. That's a hard question. Well, locally, doing Reality Rally, it's a fundraiser for Micheal's place.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, we did.
so
Kim Garrish was a guest on the show. So
yeah,
yeah, Michelle's place is definitely near and dear to us in this show.
sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So just given that and what Reality Rally is fundraising for, Micheal's place helps a lot of people with cancer. So, um,
Hmm.
it's just great to be part of that. So that's a definite strong story, a
What
strong
were
person.
you able to, was your work and your part in that able to make an impact on the community and the world at large? What do you think you were
Well,
able to accomplish?
we're getting the word out about Micheal's place. We're helping to raise funds for them.
Uh-huh.
And then I would also go over to Micheal's place during the course of Reality Rally, and they'd have all uh, reality stars and everyone that's involved go over there so that they could tell them the history. Here's how Micheal's place started. Here's who's behind it. Here's what we're doing to help others with cancer. And actually, a couple of years ago, I think it was before COVID, we all went over there to the new location on Winchester,
Mm-hmm.
and we could see the new building still under construction. And they gave us the tour. And then they said, we're going to give each of you a pen, and you can write on the walls and the internal structure and write something about if you have a friend or a loved one
Oh, wow.
who had cancer or passed away from cancer. So everybody had their pens. They found their own private spot. They're writing things on the walls. And all these messages and comments are now sealed inside the walls of Micheal's place because it's now
Wow.
complete. So if anybody, 100 years from now tears down that building, they're going to see some of these messages, hopefully, but everything's embedded in that building. So technically that building has become all of us because
Mm.
there's something behind the walls, behind the doors, behind the frame, just everywhere in that building. So that was pretty powerful. I mean, all the people that were there that day, they, it was a big emotional, touching moment. So
Mm.
I was there to capture that on video. In fact, I did a video just on that walk through and the signing of the walls. So that was all captured and preserved on video. So something like that, that's super, super powerful to have out there, making an impact and showing people, here's what it's all about,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully you can help, or hopefully someday they'll be able to help you if you're in that situation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um, on the other side of the fence, what I've done at the television station,
Mm-hmm.
I've done so much there day after day with the newscast. I mean, we've done so many stories about people and helping other people and getting them the help they need and things like that. That's just like 34 years of
Oh,
material.
yeah.
It's
Crazy.
so much to think about, but there are a lot of stories that resonate with the viewers, um, and that's neat too, because at the station we would do stories about people in need or people that had, someone who's uh, physically handicapped and their van is stolen, so they don't have transportation. We do a story like that. Before you know it, all these viewers are contributing money to help buy them a new van or help them in other ways. So it helps build the community when you do stories like that. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how people help people. So yeah, you start to see the benefits of what you're doing when things like that happen.
That's beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So what do you see for yourself in Temecula now? You're
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of been doing this, you just retired and now you're venturing off or continuing now Black Tie Productions.
Yeah.
What's your vision for the future for your company?
Well, I'll keep doing this because I do enjoy it so much. I'll keep doing it until I probably can't,
Okay.
unless unless there's a major life altering decision that I have to make that says you need to stop doing this and take care of yourself or something. But
Mhm.
as we talked about earlier, I'm still passionate about it, so I still enjoy doing it as long as I'm physically able. I mean, it's video is a strange thing. Video production. I've tried to leave broadcasting numerous times, and it it pulls you back. I mean, once it's in your
Yeah.
blood, it's kind of there, and you don't, whether you want to leave or not. Sometimes it's not your choice, so you keep coming back to it. That's kind of how I feel about what I'm doing with my company. Making videos for people and businesses. As long as I can do it, I'll keep doing it, and it's in me. For example, when I go somewhere, I won't even have my cameras with me, and I'm looking around thinking, oh, I could shoot this way or that way or get this shot. So I have a camera that's constantly going in my mind, and it just, whether I'm there shooting or just at a concert enjoying music, I'm always looking around and thinking about how this would be on video. So, and it's like something I cannot turn off. So
Mhm.
it's, I guess you know, a double-edged sword. I mean, it's there, which is great, but I can't shut it off sometimes. And I'm always
Yeah.
looking at how I would cover this with a camera. So,
What a
um,
blessing though for us here in the Temecula Valley to have you here with your years of experience plus the passion that you've got to and the ability to tell these stories in a way that is impactful
mhm,
and do it in this kind of a small market. I mean, you're used to San Diego's a huge market,
yeah.
but to have you here and available for doing things like this is really astounding, I think.
Yeah, and this is a great area, Temecula, Murrieta. You
Yeah, the
know,
Temecula Valley.
it, it's it's grown, but it's still kind of a small town feel at times. So, but
Hmm.
that's another thing I would like to do more of since I now have more time to do it, explore and profile my community more because before I didn't have as much time. I was juggling my time at the television station plus my time for my business. So it's,
Hmm.
where do I find time for these extra ideas I have? So now that I have the time, I'd like to do more things within the community, profile people, find those stories that people have tucked away, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. Oh, I,
deep in
I
their,
absolutely agree. Everybody's got a
yeah.
story.
So,
Yeah.
so things like that I would like to do and just, you know, spend more time in my own area and learn some things that maybe I don't know. So
Okay.
yeah,
So the heart of a learner and a passion for sharing and pulling out the best in people and situations. I love that.
sure, sure.
Um, so as far as I find I dabbled a bit with video production. Of course, when you're doing a podcast, you can get very detailed. I found that it's a cerebral kind of an activity, but there's also creativity involved. It takes, I think, a special person to be good at both of those at the same time.
Mhm.
How did you evolve that way?
I think a lot of it was just just natural talent or natural ability for some of that creative part of it. And but a lot of it I learned along the way. Working at a television station, I'm constantly all day long or all night or whatever your schedule is. I'm around producers, writers, directors, on-air people, camera people, engineers. I mean, everybody that has a piece of that puzzle to put the show on the air, I'm exposed to. So I'm seeing what they do on a daily basis. So, my eye to shoot video became sharper by looking at other photographers' work. I
Hmm.
learned to edit from other people. I learned to write from people. When I took on the entertainment producing role for a while,
Hmm.
I didn't have any writing experience. So I kind of got some coaching from some of our other writers. And so they showed me how to format and things like that. And you also learn by imitating too. You look at other people's work or listen to what people are saying and how things are written. So you learn by imitating.
Hmm.
Um, so a lot of that is just you're absorbing it. You're like a sponge. When you work at a television station, you can't help but take all that in. And no matter what your area of expertise is, whatever your job is at the station, you're still you learn a little bit about everybody else's jobs along the way.
Hmm.
And at some point you might be asked to kind of step in and help with something that's not your area. So which is actually good job security if you think about it. So to
Yeah,
know more,
well, I agree. But those
yeah.
becoming things, it's like yeah, getting an insurance policy on being irrelevant. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
so
Irrelevancy insurance is you always got
sure.
to be learning something new.
Oh yeah. And so, and especially in television broadcasting, the more you know, the better off, and you'll be more adaptable. If your job was to get eliminated, maybe you could say, hey, I can do this over here or this over here and just keep the ball rolling. So it does benefit you to know a lot of things. And I've seen people that start with one job and end up with another. So it's an ever evolving industry. And
Hmm.
especially in today's technology, people are expected to pretty much know everything to some degree. I mean, you're you have a little knowledge of video because we're
Teeny
doing
bit.
this today.
Yeah.
You know how to do a podcast, you know how to monitor audio, you know how to talk to people. So right there, you got like 5 traits that you're juggling. So, um, and with today's technology, you kind of by default, you just end up knowing a lot of things, and it's just amazing where things are today versus where they were when I first started in television. Um, During COVID, I was editing a video for the newscast from home, and
Mm.
had it not been for COVID, that 2 week setup would have taken maybe 2 to 3 more years to happen. So something like COVID kicked everybody in the butt and
Pushed
pushed it
everything.
along, and made it happen so much faster. So
Yeah.
so that was a good example right there of things changing because they needed to change so people could continue working while we were all confined to our homes during COVID. So
Right. But
so
you didn't give up either. I mean, I'm sure you had to go through some learning curve and changes. And it's like,
oh yeah.
you could have said, you know what? I'm about ready to retire. I think I'll just bail, but you didn't.
No, and actually working from home was nice because first and foremost, it saved me from commuting Temecula to San Diego 5 days a week. So that was a treat to work at
Yeah.
home. And while I was working at home, I started thinking, oh, this could be what it's like if I retire. Be home, have more time, and so on and so forth, save gas. So that kind of got me a bigger taste of it, and
Okay.
kind of rolled the ball a few more inches forward in the process. Um, so yeah, that gave me a real good taste of what things could be like, if I just decided to retire and hang it up. So, um, but again, that was the push that advanced us to be able to work from home,
Hmm.
and which is, everyone has kind of become the norm with a lot of people and a lot of companies now realizing we don't need this building, we can do it from home. So um, everything's changed obviously in the past few years,
Right.
but yeah, just staying ahead, trying to keep up with technology, I think is the key in a business like mine. You don't have to know 100% of everything all the time, but be aware of what's out there, and kind of know where things are headed, and learn about new techniques and software and hardware and all of that. I mean, I've changed editing platforms probably 6 or 7 times in my career, so that keeps you on your toes. And um, new cameras come and go, and so all that stuff just keeps you learning. I mean, it keeps you interested as well. So
Yeah.
that's probably what keeps me going too, is because technology is changing. So you feel like, hey, I got to keep up, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
You take a break for 2 weeks and things are already different.
oh yeah, yeah. So that keeps you interested, keeps you going, keeps you young, keeps you sharp, and all of that. So yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. Well, Michael, I've got one more question.
Okay.
We got time for one more?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, cool. I asked this of everybody on the show, and it's basically of all the taking your whole life
Hmm.
and thinking about your boldest leadership decision that you made. What was that decision and what were the consequences?
Hmm. I guess I would go back to starting my own business. I mean, that was never anything I thought about or wanted to do. I was just, you know, kind of, I guess you could say, content working in broadcasting and working for someone else.
Hmm.
I know there's bigger benefits to be had if you have your own business, but that's not something I thought I would do until I started shooting wedding videos for another company. And I thought, I can do this myself. I can do it my way and make more money and all that stuff that comes. Yeah, there's a lot of work involved, but so I would say probably starting my own business, not
Okay.
knowing if it would fail or succeed, but I could see that there was a demand for what I was doing, shooting wedding videos.
Hmm.
Um, Everybody gets married, so that's a given. So just it was, getting them to book me as their videographer, and sell my talents and show them what I could do.
Kind of a different approach to business though. I mean, you had to go like working at a production studio, like, working on KFMB TV, everything's done. I mean, yeah, like me, I was in big corporate, right? So I was in sales, but I had production, I had quality control, I've got operations, all the customer service, everything that's pretty much done for you. But
Mhm.
then now you're in a position with your own company to do all of that.
Yeah.
So what was, I mean, some people would look at that and go, that's insane. Why would anybody do that? So,
Well, I guess for me, I had a safety net, which was I still worked at the television station when I started my business.
uh-huh.
So if it did fail, okay, I still have a job at the TV
Okay.
station. So I didn't entirely say goodbye to television and then go off on my job, which was tempting, and I would have liked to have done that so I could just 100% do my own thing. But I still wanted to keep the safety net. The day job, as they call it, is
Mm-hmm.
where
Mm-hmm.
your bread and butter is. That's where your benefits are. That's where you protect your family with those benefits and the
Sure.
income. So
Yeah, yeah.
not knowing how that my own business would do, and when you have your own business, you have to get your own benefits, you have to get your own insurance and this and that. So yeah, the broadcasting job was the safety net, I guess you could call it, because without that, then I would really be sweating bullets if my business didn't do well. So that's why I kind of kept things the way they were for a while until I felt the time was right. Which a lot of people don't have that luxury of the safety net. They get a business idea and they say, "I'm leaving, I'm going, bye,"
Mm-hmm.
and they do their business, and it's all on them. Some people may still keep their day job, but it just depends on your circumstances. But if you have that safety net, then I guess you lower your risk tolerance a bit. But so yeah, that's basically what I did. But it was still a challenge. I mean, I had to learn a lot along the way, go through all the hoops of the city, get the licenses, the permits, and all that goes with that, insurances and stuff like that. So, but it was a great learning process, and it makes you a sharper individual because now I'm just not knowledgeable about what I do as a business, but I'm knowledgeable about what it took to become a business.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that was something I didn't know about until I did it. So,
Did it help you at all at the TV stations doing that work, your day job work?
um, oh, you mean doing the day job helped me in my business, or
No, the other way.
oh,
As you were learning your business,
okay,
were you able to take some of what you're learning and have that apply back
oh,
at
sure, yeah, just in if nothing else, in how to deal with people and work with them, and because having my business, I'm the boss, I'm the owner, but I'm also the guy that shoots and edits all the videos. So when I'm working with clients, that's one part of me. So you learn how to deal with people
mm-hmm.
and keep everybody happy and pleased. So applying those skills and techniques at the television station, yeah, it did help just in working with people and um, keeping everybody happy and content and what they needed or what they wanted. So yeah, they both helped each other actually. Um, I would always take things from my broadcasting job, apply them to my own business, and vice versa. So um, the one thing that was always the catch was I have to stop and think about which edit platform am I using today. Going
Yeah,
between the TV stations and what I have for my video business, and I try and use keyboard shortcuts, and I think, oh wait, that doesn't work here. That works over
right.
there, and
Alt
vice versa.
delete.
So, but it's
Yeah.
all it all worked out, and it definitely keeps you on your toes. So yeah,
Oh, I bet. Yeah, my
yeah.
brother-in-law was a video editor up in San Francisco for
Okay.
KRON TV and KABC affiliate up
Oh
there.
yeah.
And I got to go into his suite one time, and gosh, he had three huge monitors
Oh yeah.
in front of him, and he was using the best of the best software. And then he had a bank of hard drives,
Hmm.
a drive bay behind him, and I think it held like maybe 100 disk drives.
Oh yeah.
Big 3.5 or 5-inch drives at that time. And so yeah, that was amazing doing
Yeah,
all the
they've got countless hours of video at the television stations, and the archives go way, way back. And it's a great history of a city. If you look at a news station's archive, I mean,
uh-huh,
they just have so much that's filed away that may never see the light of day again once it's made that initial airing.
right.
Um, unless there's follow-up stories, or if it's a crime story or something that gets revisited. But yeah, that's the best archive of a city's history, is go to a television station, because they have everything documented from day one to present day. And you'd be surprised what's in there. I mean, I know KFMB, they've got things on film, and a lot of it's amazing. They actually have a series they call Throwbacks, and they run those every Thursday. And they
Mm-hmm.
dig up old footage and they put it together and rerun it. And people get amazed to see that, or they'll watch it and say, hey, there's me, from 10 years ago or 20 years ago.
Oh,
So
that's fun.
it does get a lot of interest because it's historical.
Yeah,
People see themselves, people see things or places they went to back then. So it's a great historical value. Yeah,
perfect.
it's interesting. Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah,
Well, Michael, thank you for your time today. Thank you for joining
yeah.
me on the show.
It
It
was
was fun.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll have to keep in touch and see how you're doing. Maybe get back in a bit and do another follow up.
Okay,
And,
that'd be
yeah,
great.
that would be fun. So have an awesome afternoon, and we'll see you again soon.
Okay, thanks again.
All
Take
right.
care.
Thanks, Michael.
All right.